I had built my life around that coffee shop in Seattle. For over 20 years, it was my pride and joy, a cozy spot on the corner of Pike Street where the aroma of fresh roasted beans drew in everyone from early morning commuters to weekend families. I poured my heart into perfecting blends, remembering regulars' orders, and turning it into a community hub. Profits were steady, enough to keep our lakefront home comfortable and Chloe's future secure. She was my only child, bright-eyed and full of dreams, studying graphic design at the local college. But everything shattered when the seizures started. It began subtly, a twitch during dinner, then full-blown episodes that left her trembling on the floor. Tests revealed a rare neurological disorder, something the doctors called progressive and untreatable with standard methods. Chloe's fiancé, Kyle, stepped in like a hero. He was charming, a tech consultant with big ideas and a smooth way of talking. He researched tirelessly, or so he claimed, and found this experimental treatment in Switzerland. "It's cutting edge, Frank," he said one evening over takeout. "Swiss specialists using neural implants and targeted therapies. It's her only real chance." The cost hit like a freight train, $500,000 upfront, no insurance coverage. I didn't hesitate. Chloe was my world, I'd move mountains for her. I listed the coffee shop first. Buyers snapped it up quickly, a young couple eager to carry on the legacy, but watching them sign the papers felt like signing away my soul. The lakefront home went next, that beautiful place with the dock where Chloe and I used to fish on lazy Sundays. Real estate agents buzzed around, praising the views, but each offer chipped at my resolve. In the end, I netted just enough after taxes and fees. I wired the money to the clinic as instructed, with Kyle handling the logistics. He and Chloe flew out ahead, promising updates. "We'll beat this, Dad," she said, hugging me tightly at the airport. I believed her. I trusted them both completely. Little did I know, Kyle had woven the entire tale as an elaborate scam, pocketing every cent to fuel his hidden troubles. After the sales, life unraveled fast. The coffee shop handover left me with a hollow routine, no more steaming espresso machines or chatting with familiar faces. The lakefront home closing was worse. I packed boxes alone, each one a reminder of Chloe's laughter echoing off the water. With the money gone, I moved into a dingy motel on the outskirts of Seattle, the kind with thin walls and a flickering neon sign. Rent was cheap, but so was everything else. I scraped by on odd jobs, delivering packages in the rain, stocking shelves at a warehouse, even washing dishes at a diner. Days blurred into nights, my savings account a distant memory. I called Chloe weekly, but the updates were vague. "Treatment's going well, Dad. Just need more time." Kyle always chimed in, reassuring me about progress. I clung to that, telling myself it was temporary. 2 years dragged on like that, my world shrinking to motel coffee and faded hopes. One rainy afternoon, I took a break from a delivery shift and ducked into a library to dry off. The place was quiet, rows of computers humming under fluorescent lights. I wasn't much for tech, but boredom led me to one station. I searched for Seattle news, hoping for a spark of normalcy, when a suggested video popped up, a travel vlog titled Bali Bliss, Hidden Gems and Paradise Vibes. The thumbnail showed turquoise waves and smiling tourists. Curiosity clicked play. The vlogger, a bubbly woman with a backpack, narrated her adventures: monkey forests, rice terraces, sunset beaches. Midway through, the camera panned to a group at a beachside cafe. There she was, Chloe, laughing with a cocktail in hand, her arm linked with Kyle's. She looked radiant, no sign of illness, her hair sun-kissed and free. The date stamp hit me like ice water, exactly the month she was supposed to be in that Swiss clinic, wired to machines for the experimental procedure. I replayed the clip, heart pounding. Chloe waved at the camera, saying something about the perfect vacation spot. Kyle grinned beside her, toasting with a beer. They were tanned, relaxed, worlds away from any hospital bed. The vlogger captioned it as a chance encounter with a lovely couple from the States. My hands shook as I paused the video. All those calls, the assurances, it was a lie. The $500,000, my life's work, funneled into their paradise. I sat there for hours, staring at the frozen image, pieces falling into place. The rushed timeline for the treatment, Kyle's insistence on handling payments, Chloe's reluctance to share details. Betrayal burned deep, but anger simmered beneath. I copied the link to my phone and left the library, rain soaking me again. That night in the motel, I lay awake, plotting my next move. No more blind trust. It was time to uncover the truth. The following weeks tested my resolve. Odd jobs kept me afloat, but my mind raced. I started digging quietly, using the library computers to search for the Swiss clinic. Oddly, no records matched the name Kyle had given, just generic sites about neurology research. I reached out to a few contacts from my coffee shop days, old customers who knew people in finance. One suggested I consult records from the property sales, see where the money trail led. But without resources, it felt futile. Still, that vlog image haunted me. Chloe, healthy and happy, while I scraped by in a motel. I wondered how deep it went. Was she in on it? Or had Kyle manipulated her too? Questions swirled, but action called. I saved every penny from those jobs, aiming to rebuild enough to confront them. Months turned into a year. The motel manager hiked rent, forcing me to an even cheaper spot further out. Deliveries took me across the city, past my old neighborhood, where new families lived in homes I'd known. One evening, after a long shift, I treated myself to a burger joint with free Wi-Fi. Scrolling news, another travel post caught my eye, user comments on Bali hotspots. Someone mentioned spotting an American couple at a luxury resort, describing Chloe's laugh. It confirmed the scam's timeline, no treatment, just getaway funds. Rage built, but I channeled it into planning. I contacted an old friend, Mike, a lawyer I'd known since college. Over a payphone call, I shared the vlog link. "Frank, this smells off," he said. "We need proof, but start gathering what you can." Life stayed grim. Warehouse work bruised my back, but it paid. I avoided alcohol, focusing on facts. Chloe called once, her voice cheerful, mentioning an upcoming engagement party. "You should come, Dad. Things are great." I feigned excitement, buying time. Internally, the discovery shifted everything. That accidental vlog wasn't just a slip-up, it was the crack in their facade. I began noting dates, locations, anything to build a case. The motel isolation helped, no distractions, just determination. By the 2-year mark, I'd pieced together flight records online, showing their Bali trip booked right after my wire transfer. Coincidence? No. It was theft, plain and simple. As the engagement invite arrived, fancy cardstock, all smiles, I steeled myself. The party was at a venue near my old home, a cruel twist. Driving there in my beat-up truck, I rehearsed words. No outbursts, just truth-seeking. Little did I know, the confrontation would reveal layers I hadn't imagined. But that vlog, that frozen beach moment, ignited it all. From motel drudgery to this, my fight had begun. The engagement party invitation sat on my motel's rickety nightstand for days, a glossy card mocking my circumstances. It featured Chloe's beaming face next to Kyle's, with elegant script announcing their big news. The venue was a upscale hall in Seattle's suburbs, not far from our old lakefront neighborhood. I stared at it during breaks from warehouse shifts, my calloused hands tracing the edges. 2 years of scraping by, and now this, a celebration of the life they stole from me. Mike, my lawyer friend, advised caution when I called him. "Go, Frank, but observe. Don't accuse without evidence. We need more than that vlog." I nodded to myself, folding the invite into my wallet. It was time to face them, to see the truth in their eyes. I borrowed a clean shirt from a coworker and drove my rattling truck to the event. The engine coughing like my resolve. Pulling into the parking lot, I felt a pang of displacement. The hall glowed with string lights, laughter spilling out as guests in suits and dresses mingled. Valet took my keys with a raised eyebrow, but I straightened my posture and walked in. The air smelled of catered hors d'oeuvres and champagne, reminders of the life I'd funded unwittingly. Chloe spotted me first, waving from across the room. She looked stunning in a flowing gown, her health undeniable, no trace of the disorder she'd supposedly battled. Kyle stood beside her, arm around her waist, his smile as polished as ever. "Dad! You made it," she said, hugging me tightly. Her embrace felt genuine, but doubt gnawed at me. We chatted superficially, about my new job, weather, small talk, while Kyle fetched drinks. He clapped me on the back, saying, "Glad you're here, Frank. Family's everything, right?" I forced a nod, scanning the crowd for clues. The party buzzed with energy. Toasts rang out, speeches praised the couple's future. Kyle's parents, a stern duo I'd met briefly before, hovered nearby, whispering to each other. Chloe pulled me aside during a lull, her eyes sparkling. "We've got exciting news to share," she said. The announcement came during the main toast, microphones amplifying their voices. Kyle took the stage first, thanking everyone, then Chloe joined him. "As we start this new chapter," she began, "we want to let you know that Kyle's parents are moving into the lakefront house. It's perfect, more space for everyone, and they're excited to be closer." The room applauded, but her words landed like a gut punch. The house, my house, the one I'd sold to save her, now theirs to dole out. Kyle nodded along, adding, "They're moving in tomorrow." I stood frozen, glass in hand, as they stepped down to hugs and congratulations. "They're moving in tomorrow," Chloe repeated to me later, squeezing my arm. In that moment, I felt the house was no longer mine, not just the deed, but the memories, the dock, the quiet evenings. It symbolized everything lost, my security, my sacrifices. Guests milled about, oblivious, but rage simmered inside. They offered me a tiny guest room in the back, a converted storage space barely big enough for a bed. "It'll be great for visits, Dad," Chloe said brightly. "You can stay anytime." Kyle chimed in, "We're making it family-friendly. No more motel life for you." It was a takeover, plain and calculated, pushing me to the margins of my own life, reducing me to a visitor in a home I'd built. I excused myself to the balcony for air, the city lights blurring through unshed tears. How had it come to this? The vlog replayed in my mind, Chloe on that Bali beach, carefree, while I toiled. Back inside, I cornered Kyle near the bar. "The house," I said quietly, "that was my everything. Sold it for Chloe's treatment." He shifted, smile faltering. "Yeah, tough break, Frank. But it's working out. She's healthy now." His evasion fueled my suspicion. Chloe joined us, sensing tension. "Dad, everything okay?" I wanted to shout about the scam, but Mike's warning held me back. Instead, I probed gently. "The treatment must have been intense. When did you get back?" She hesitated, glancing at Kyle. "Oh, it wrapped up smoothly. We're just grateful." The evening wore on with dances and photos. Kyle's parents approached, introducing themselves warmly but with an undercurrent of possession. "We've always admired that property," the mother said. "Kyle told us about your generosity." Generosity, they framed it as a gift, erasing the deception. They detailed plans, redecorating the kitchen, adding a garden. Each word tightened the knot in my chest. The guest room offer came casually, as if it fixed everything. "It's got its own entrance," Kyle's father added. "Private, you know." Private, like an afterthought, a way to keep me out of sight. I nodded politely, but inside, resolve hardened. This wasn't celebration, it was erasure. Driving home through the dark streets, the motel's neon sign welcomed me like an old enemy. I called Mike from the payphone outside, recounting the night. "They've taken it all," I said. "The house, my place in their lives." He listened. Then suggested next steps, financial records, perhaps a private investigator. Sleep evaded me that night, the party's echoes replaying. Chloe's announcement replayed too, "They're moving in tomorrow." It marked the end of any illusion. No more passive waiting. The confrontation had cracked open more than I'd expected, hinting at deeper motives. Kyle's quick deflections, the family's entitlement, it all pointed to something rotten. I spent the next days gathering what I could, old emails about the clinic, bank statements from the sales. The takeover attempt backfired, it ignited my determination to reclaim what was mine. Weeks passed in a haze of odd jobs and research. The warehouse shifts blurred, but my focus sharpened. I avoided Chloe's follow-up calls, needing space. One evening, sorting through boxes from the motel move, I found an old photo of the lakefront home, Chloe and me on the dock, smiling. It spurred me on. Mike met me at a coffee shop, not mine, but a neutral spot, and we pored over documents. "This guest room nonsense," he said, "it's them asserting control. But we can challenge the sale if fraud's proven." The party had been a turning point, transforming hurt into action. No longer the sidelined father, I was piecing together their game. As fall leaves turned, news trickled in, Kyle's parents indeed moved in, photos shared on social media by Chloe. The house looked the same yet alien, staged for their life. The tiny guest room appeared in one post, ready for family. It stung, but it clarified my path. The confrontation wasn't just words, it was the spark for justice. Little did I know, peeling back this layer would reveal the syndicate ties, the gambling debts. But that night at the party, with champagne flutes clinking and takeover announced, my fight truly began. The days after the engagement party dragged me into a relentless pursuit of answers. That takeover announcement, "They're moving in tomorrow," echoed in my head, fueling late nights at the library computer. The motel room felt smaller, a cage of faded wallpaper and buzzing fridge, but it gave me focus. Mike, my lawyer friend, became my anchor. We met weekly at a quiet diner, spreading out papers over greasy plates. "The vlog and the party are pieces," he said one morning, sipping black coffee. "But to unravel this, we need the money trail." I nodded, recounting Kyle's evasive eyes at the event. He suggested starting with public records, bank transfers, property deeds. I dove in, printing what I could afford, my warehouse paychecks stretched thin. First, I revisited the Swiss clinic. Using the library's search tools, I cross-referenced the name Kyle provided, Neurovita Institute. Nothing substantial appeared, no website, no patient reviews, just vague mentions in outdated medical forums. I emailed a few neurologists from Seattle hospitals, posing as a concerned relative. One replied bluntly, "Never heard of it. Sounds fabricated." Fabricated. The word chilled me. Next, I pulled my old bank statements from storage, the ones from the sales. The $500,000 wire transfer went to an offshore account, routed through a shell company in the Caymans. Mike explained it over the phone, classic laundering setup. Not straightforward theft, it's layered. Laundering? The term opened a floodgate. Kyle, the charming tech guy, hiding something bigger. Odd jobs kept the wolf from the door, but my mind raced during deliveries. Driving through Seattle's rainy streets, I'd replay conversations. Kyle's insistence on handling the clinic payments, his vague job descriptions, consultant for what? I started watching his social media, the profiles Chloe shared. Posts showed luxury trips post-Bali, Vegas weekends, Miami escapes. Always casinos in the background, subtle but there. One photo caught my eye: Kyle at a poker table, grinning with high rollers. Gambling. It clicked during a late shift, stacking boxes in the warehouse. Debts. Massive ones. That explained the scam's scale. $500,000 wasn't pocket change for a vacation, it was a payoff. Mike connected me with a retired investigator buddy, Tom, who owed him a favor. We met in a park, away from prying eyes. Tom, grizzled with a notebook, took my notes. "Offshore wires scream trouble," he said. "Give me a week." He dug discreetly, pulling credit reports and public filings. Results came via encrypted email: Kyle's name linked to multiple maxed-out cards, loans from shady lenders. Worse, a bankruptcy filing from 3 years back, buried under his tech facade. But the real bombshell was the syndicate ties. Tom traced the shell company to a network in Eastern Europe, known for money laundering through fake medical ventures. "Organized crime," he wrote. "They pose as clinics, siphon funds for gambling rings and worse." Chloe's treatment was a front, my money funnel to pay Kyle's markers. The revelation hit during a motel night, rain pattering the window. I paced the thin carpet, piecing it together. Kyle's gambling debts had ensnared him: high-stakes tables, loans from criminals who demanded repayment with interest. The scam wasn't random, it was orchestrated. He targeted me through Chloe, fabricating the disorder's severity. She was merely a pawn, her trust in him blinding her to the plot. I remembered her hesitant glances at the party, the way she'd look to Kyle for cues. Innocent? Maybe. But complicit enough to go along. Anger mixed with pity, my daughter, used as bait in his desperation. I shared findings with Mike over coffee. "This is federal territory," he said, eyes wide. "Fraud plus organized crime, RICO implications." We mapped next steps: gather affidavits, contact authorities anonymously. But doubt crept in. Exposing this meant dragging Chloe through mud. Still, the house takeover sealed it: they'd crossed into greed, not just survival. Kyle's parents moving in. Likely clueless, but beneficiaries. I avoided Chloe's calls, her voicemails pleading for a visit to the new family setup. The guest room taunt lingered, a symbol of their overreach. Tom's updates deepened the web. Kyle's phone records showed calls to numbers tied to syndicate enforcers, bookies demanding payments. One email trail, hacked lightly by Tom, revealed Kyle pitching the clinic scam to contacts: easy mark, father-in-law with assets. Clean transfer. My stomach turned. Chloe's name appeared peripherally, signing dummy forms. Pawn, yes, but signing made her part of it. The gambling angle explained the Bali trip: fleeing pressure, celebrating a score. Debts ballooned to millions, the $500,000 a drop, but enough to buy time. Life's grind continued. Warehouse overtime left me sore, but it funded copies and calls. I confided in no one else, the isolation sharpening my edge. One evening, sorting evidence, I found an old letter from Chloe: "Pre-scam, love you, Dad. You're my rock." Tears blurred it. This conspiracy tore at family bonds, Kyle's debts pulling us all under. Mike warned of risks, syndicate retaliation, but justice called louder. We drafted a report, timelines and links, ready for prosecutors. As winter gripped Seattle, snow dusting the motel lot, clarity emerged. The deeper conspiracy wasn't just theft, it was a lifeline Kyle grabbed, dooming us. Chloe, pawn or not, faced consequences. The house, now theirs, stood as collateral in my mind, reclaimable through truth. Tom's final note: syndicates active in Seattle ports. Tread light. Fear flickered, but resolve held. This layer exposed, the path to resolution sharpened. Collaborating with Mike, we'd dismantle it, piece by calculated piece, the weight of the conspiracy pressed down as winter thawed into Seattle's drizzly spring. My motel room, cluttered with printouts and Tom's reports, became command central. Mike and I met more frequently now, his office a sanctuary of legal pads and coffee stains. "We've got enough for a solid case," he said one afternoon, flipping through the syndicate links. "Fraud, laundering, organized crime ties, it's airtight." I leaned back in the worn chair, the lakefront house's takeover still raw. Chloe's voicemails piled up, her voice laced with confusion. "Dad, why the silence? Come see the new setup." I couldn't yet. Exposing Kyle meant appending her world, but the evidence left no choice. We started with anonymous tips to the authorities, routing through Mike's contacts at the FBI's Financial Crimes Unit. No dramatics, just facts, timelines, the offshore wires. Preparation consumed weeks. I quit the warehouse job, channeling savings into a private server for secure file shares. Mike coached me on statements, rehearsing my deposition like a script. "Stick to what you know, the sales, the vlog, the party announcement." The guest room offer haunted those sessions, a petty jab amid the larger theft. Tom provided final dossiers. Kyle's debts topped $2 million, funneled through fake clinics like ours. Chloe's signatures on forms sealed her involvement, however unwitting. Pawn or not, she knew enough. We compiled everything into a dossier, emailing it to prosecutors with a cover letter from Mike. "This could trigger RICO charges," he explained. "Racketeering, the syndicate's web unraveling." The first response came swiftly. An FBI agent, Elena, contacted Mike discreetly. They wanted my testimony, in person. I met her at a nondescript cafe, my hands steady despite the stakes. She reviewed the vlog clip, nodding at Chloe's beach smile. "This timeline mismatch is gold," she said. "And the house? That's emotional leverage in fraud cases." I described the engagement party in detail, the toast, "They're moving in tomorrow," the tiny guest room pitch. Her eyes sharpened. "Shows intent to consolidate gains." "Good." We scheduled formal interviews, me under oath, piecing the scam aloud. Kyle's gambling logs emerged in their database, debts to enforcers who'd pressured him into the plot. Chloe, they noted, might flip if offered leniency. Life shifted gears. With Mike's help, I rented a small apartment, first stable roof in years. No more motel isolation, it felt like reclaiming ground. Chloe reached out again, this time in person, showing up unannounced. "Dad, talk to me," she pleaded on the doorstep. Her eyes, so like her mother's, tugged at me. I let her in, but held back the full truth. "Things aren't right, Chloe." "The treatment, questions." She deflected, gushing about wedding plans, the house's fresh start. Kyle's parents had indeed moved in, redecorating my old study into their lounge. "It's family now," she said. I saw the pawn clearly, trapped in his charm, blind to the debts. "Be careful," I warned vaguely. She left puzzled, but it planted seeds. The investigation accelerated. Warrants hit Kyle's accounts, freezing assets. News trickled through Mike, syndicate higher-ups scrambling, cutting ties. Kyle, cornered, lawyered up fast. Chloe got a visit from agents, her world cracking. She called me in tears that night. "Dad, they say it's fraud. The clinic." Kyle handled it all. I stayed calm, heart aching. "Tell them everything. It's the way out." Mike advised her indirectly through me, plea deal potential. To avoid prison, she agreed, testifying against Kyle and the network. Her statements corroborated mine, the fabricated disorder escalation, the Bali recovery trip, the money's flow. "I thought it was real," she sobbed over the phone. "He said it was for us. Pawn no more," she became key witness. Kyle came under full investigation. Fraud charges piled on, but the organized crime angle dominated. connections to port smuggling rings, laundering through medical scams. Raids hit his associates, evidence linking back to my $500,000. Prosecutors painted him as mid-level operator, debts driving the betrayal. He fought it, claiming Chloe's complicity, but her testimony dismantled that. Court dates loomed. I attended the arraignment, watching him in cuffs, his polished facade gone. No violence, just the system's grind. Chloe stood apart, pale but resolute, her plea securing reduced charges, probation, restitution. Justice felt bittersweet. With the case building, I turned to the house. Mike filed to challenge the sale as fraud-induced, but Chloe, in amends, offered to buy it back with seized funds. Kyle's parents vacated quietly, scandal staining their move. I declined reclaiming it, too tainted. Instead, I sold my new apartment, the modest place that marked my rebound. The proceeds, around $300,000 after fees, went to a foundation for financial fraud victims. Mike handled the donation, a quiet ceremony with survivors sharing stories. "Your scam funded help for others," the director said, shaking my hand. It closed the circle, my loss ceding protection. Resolution settled unevenly. Chloe and I rebuilt slowly, weekly coffees replacing voicemails. She ended the engagement, facing therapy for the manipulation. "I was blind, Dad. Sorry doesn't cover it." Kyle's trial dragged, but convictions loomed, decades for RICO violations. The syndicate fractured, several arrests rippling out. I returned to work, not coffee, but consulting on small business security, warning owners of scams. The lakefront home sold to a family unscarred by my history. No grudges, just forward motion. Looking back, the initial deception birthed this path. From motel despair to courtroom closure, collaboration with Mike proved pivotal. Chloe's plea deal saved her, her testimony toppling Kyle's empire. The foundation donation? My final stand, turning pain into purpose. Seattle's rains washed clean, life steady again. Betrayal scarred, but justice mended.